Well, Brandon, welcome to Minnesota. So great to have you here
Thank
visiting
you.
the Twin Cities. When's the last time you were here?
It's been a long time. I'm not going to age myself by saying how long, but it's been a long time. It's good to be back.
Well, welcome back to Minnesota.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you here. Obviously, we're doing a lot of work to make sure that we're turning Minnesota blue in 2026
Yep.
and building the resounding victory to reelect our governor and people up and down the ballot. You have a unique story, and now as part of the HRC team, you go around the country talking about your own story.
Yeah.
You've said many times that the community, the LGBTQ plus community, has saved your life more than once. Can you share a recent moment when the community really stepped in and you saw it respond in the moment?
Yeah, I see it every single day. I mean, one of the joys of this job is getting to watch our community um, be resistant, be resilient, be defiant in the face of, sometimes what feel like insurmountable odds. One of the most powerful things I was a part of recently was around the disappearance of Andre Hernandez Romero, the gay Venezuelan makeup artist who was disappeared by the Trump administration because they didn't like his tattoos. We put out a call to our community for them to respond, and they did. Thousands of people wrote in to their members of Congress to demand action on it. We had a rally outside the Supreme Court. Hundreds of people showed up to demand freedom for Andre. Of course, ultimately, Andre was released from the prison in CCOT. He was sent back to his family in Venezuela. It felt really good to see the community show up like that.
Thank you so much for that work. I heard from so many community members asking me, like, how do I get in touch with our federal legislators? Because they wanted to do everything they could.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the work on that. You are a published author, and you understand the power of storytelling.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about like why storytelling and telling our own stories is so important in this fight.
Yeah, well, a couple things. First, when we lose sight of our shared humanity is when bad things happen in society. It's when we sign up for things that we didn't think we were capable of signing up for. It's when we don't speak out against atrocities that are being, leveraged against our neighbors. When we connect on a deeply human level, when we see each other for the full, rich beauty that each one of us possesses, is when we can fight for each other. It's when we can fight for our freedom. And second, storytelling has always been the fuel for the LGBTQ plus movement. Think about all the things we've been able to accomplish. When we were fighting against the HIV and AIDS crisis in this country, it was people sharing their stories, their powerful human stories, their family stories that helped turn the tide on medical intervention in this country. Think about the fight for marriage equality, right? When we stood hand in hand on church steps and said, our love is love and it deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. When people saw us as loving human couples, this country turned its perspective on marriage equality, and now marriage equality is the law of the land. So storytelling has always been at the core of the LGBTQ plus rights movement, and that's why I believe so firmly that we're called to share our stories every single day.
That's so powerful. As you may know, Minnesota became the first state to ever defeat a hurtful constitutional amendment in 2012. And that is exactly what we did. Our strategy was to make sure that we empowered people to tell their own story about why marriage mattered to them. It was about love, commitment, and responsibility. And I got to tell you, when we ask activists to go out and talk about love and commitment, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? We're fighting for our rights. But then we showed them the data. Like the research proves that when you open up and you tell your own story and you share your own perspective, it's a powerful motivating force for people to actually come toward your side. Yeah. And ultimately convince them that love can win.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I think the most important community organizing we do is in conversations like the one we're having right now. When we sit across from somebody, look them in the eyes, and share our humanity with them, we are organizing them toward a better future together. Every one of us has the power to do that. It doesn't take a big stage or a loud microphone to be able to change the world. You're changing the world every single time you sit across the table from someone and share your story.
Brennan, I've just gotten to know you today, and I've obviously followed your work over the last couple of years. But one of the things I know about you is you're a person of action. Mm-hmm. Like you lean in and you take action right away. And you talk about that all the time. The Human Rights Campaign where you work is a place of action where you need to lean in every day. Talk to us a little bit about why it's so important for us to lean in right now and take action in this moment.
One of the things that the right wing relies on so heavily is a sense of inevitability, of invincibility. They light a million tiny fires all over the country, so every one of us feels defeated. So we run around with our own little fire extinguisher trying to put them out individually, and we can never actually organize to hold the arson accountable. I think the antidote to that is taking action where we are. It's in showing up to a school board meeting. It's in, becoming a part of the PTA. It's in hosting a book club with people in your community that may have different perspectives so you can open up and have tough dialogues with each other. It's really in that community organizing where we're not just offering up our thoughts. We're not just posting on social media, though. Listen, I love content, but we're taking action, right, in community with each other. And I'll just say, I think some of the greatest progress we've made in this country has been built on that sort of individualized community by community action. When we've made great change in this country, we've built it on the foundation of people taking action right where they are.
Absolutely. So we know here in Minnesota and across the country, every day, people are feeling anxious. They're feeling this sense of chaos and confusion coming from Donald Trump and complicit Republicans each and every day. Tell us a little bit how you stay hopeful in this moment.
I've told people since tragic events changed my life that hope is all I have. It's what I run on. And I believe that firmly. I find so much hope in our ancestors, in the people who came before us, who fought through what felt like insurmountable obstacles, what felt like the highest hurdles. And they fought anyway because they knew that a better future was worth fighting for. I find hope in their struggle, in the lessons that they taught us. And I find a lot of hope in the future. I find a lot of hope in young people who are impatient for a better tomorrow, who are refusing to accept the status quo, who are calling things like they are, speaking plain language and not trying to dance around tough subjects. I find a lot of hope in people who are willing to push just a little bit more, to lean in just a little bit harder. I've seen people taking action over the last few months that I didn't know they were possible. I didn't know they were capable of taking, right? I've seen people calling lawmakers for the first time who are terrified of talking to somebody, a stranger on the phone. I've seen people showing up to school board meetings, organizing rallies in their communities, offering to host, meetings with their lawmakers in those offices. I've seen people stepping up and pushing back in ways that feel really courageous to me, and all of that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah, me too. I have to say, like on this daily call community that we have, each and every day they report back what they're seeing out in the community, and they're telling us about the rallies they're attending. And we are seeing people go from their first ever attending a rally to eventually getting and going door to door and doing this canvassing. And that's the kind of action, that's the kind of ladder of engagement we need to continue to build. Yeah. Thank you so much. You give me hope. HRC has always given me hope as a gay man. I really appreciate that you're on the front lines, the National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign. Brandon Wolf, thank you for being on the call today.
Thank you. Good
awesome.
To see you.
Thank you.